We'll discuss Article 16 first of all. Yesterday we discussed Article 12, 13, 14, and 15. So I want to discuss those four articles in just brief. So I'll ask one by one. First of all, Article 12. And Swati Sharma, can you please tell me about something? Tell me about something, Article 12.
Sir, it includes the government and parliament of India. States, the states include government and parliament of India, and the government and the legislature of each state, and all the local and other authorities within the territory of India and under the control of government of India. This is Article 12.
Now we'll talk about Article 13. Gargi, can you please explain what is Article 13?
So Article 13 talks about the judicial review, the power of judicial review of the judiciary, and it says that any law which is against the constitutional principles is null and void.
Where is it mentioned that it talks about judicial review? Is it mentioned in this article? I'm asking that is it mentioned in this article that it talks about judicial review?
No, sir. So judicial review is not mentioned.
Then why did you say that it talks about judicial review?
Sir, it basically says that
Yes, yes. Go
sir,
ahead.
it says that any law which is not in accordance with the constitutional principles can be declared null and void by the judiciary.
Yes. So does it talk about only laws which came after the commencement of the constitution, or it talks about pre-constitutional law also?
So it also talks about the pre-constitutional law that came before the commencement of the constitution.
Okay, okay. So basically, it talks about law and about their validity in simple term. Nothing much. Okay. And Article 14. Who should I ask Article 14? Article 14. Neha Sahu. Can you explain Article 14? Satish, are you there? Satish, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you please explain Article 14? What does it say?
So it talks about equality before law and equal protection of laws, that the state should not deny to any person equality before law or equal protection of laws. So equality before law is the absence of any favor for anyone. That is, there is no class or privileges. So equal protection of law talks about treating people equal and equal.
Equal protection of law. Okay, anyways, can you discuss the example which we have and yesterday discussed? Can you tell me about that example which we have discussed?
Yes, sir. Equality before law, that is GST on any article, which is equal for everyone, and equal protection of law, progressive taxation.
progressive taxation. And can we say this BPL card Yojana and government providing subsidy also, that is also comes under equal protection
Yes,
of
sir.
law?
Yes, sir.
Yes, exactly. Now we'll discuss Article 15, and who's going to explain Article 15 in just 2, 3 lines?
So may I?
Yes, go ahead.
So Article 15 says no discrimination on certain grounds like race, religion, caste, sex, place of birth, or events or yeah, on such places, water, hotel use, public places, worship places. So no discrimination is allowed, and different treatment does not mean discrimination. That's it.
Okay, but there are certain things which are actually contradictory to these principles. Article 15.3, 15.4, 15.5.
Yes, sir. But you said I have to explain in 2, 3 lines.
Yeah, you can take another 3, 4 lines.
Okay, sir. Uh, the state shall
Okay,
SC/ST.
tell me the name of two landmark cases which are related to Article. Tell me the name of one landmark case which is related to Article 15.3.
15.3.
Yes, one landmark case.
नहीं याद है.
Or tell me the
Re-
name of tell me the name of those guidelines which were issued under this article.
आर्टिकल 15 से रिलेटेड एक शाफत नंदवानी वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ हरियाणा केस है.
Sir,
नहीं,
Vishakha guidelines.
yeah,
State of
exactly.
Sir,
Madhya
Vishakha
was
guidelines.
Vishakha
Sir, and
guidelines.
Indra Sawhney versus Union of India.
That is
Yes, there are
15% reservation. That is 16 now, actually.
15, that is for 15.4 and 15.5. Indra Sohane, and that is known as Mandal case, in which
Yes, sir.
they have talked about the reservation. So can you please tell me that? Okay, this is all. And what about this EWS? This they have come up with this EWS, Economical Weaker Section Act, and through which Constitutional Amendment Act it was introduced in the Constitution.
103.
103 constitutional amendment.
Which one?
103.
This one?
103.
103.
Okay. Now we'll discuss Article 16. So who's going
Hello,
to
sir.
explain? Yes, Animesh.
Sir, actually, 103 is the constitutional, that is article number. So, but if question is asked that which bill introduced it, so that will be different, no?
Yeah, bill is totally different. I think it was the bill was
123rd.
123 or something like that. I don't remember that, but this constitutional act was act. It was 103.
Okay.
Bill is different, and once it is passed, because there are other bills also pending, so the bill which becomes act, then we take that number, the next number which is in the line. Okay, so who is going to explain Article 16?
So can I?
Yes, yes.
So Article 16 talk about equal opportunity in public employment,
Okay.
and no citizen will be discriminated against or on the basis of race, caste, sex, and place of birth and residence.
Okay, so I want to ask one question, that what is the fundamental difference between Article 15 and Article 16? And you don't need to answer it. I'll ask someone else.
Okay.
Okay, Muskan Goyal, you tell me.
So Article 15 talk about in general. In general, we can't discriminate anyone on basis of race or religion or caste, sex or place of birth. But in Article 16, they talk about employment. In case of employment, we can't discriminate basis on all these things.
Okay, so what kind of employment they talk about? Whether it's a public
Government,
employment
public
or
employment,
private? Okay.
basically public employment in the state or center, wherever.
Yeah, so if we have to talk in simple terms, so basically we can say that Article 61A tries to provide equality in matter of employment or appointment to any office under the state. And now we know what is the definition of state, right? Do we know or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And
Yes, sir.
16.2 says and that talks about the ground on which the citizen should not be discriminated against for the purpose of employment or appointment to any office under the state. And these are religion, race, caste, sex, and descent, birthplace, and residence. So in Article 15, there were 5 grounds. Here there are, I think, 7 grounds, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So basically, in nutshell, Article 16.1 and 16.2 ensure equal opportunity for public employment. However, other clauses of this article are exceptions to these two clauses, and these are Article 16.3, 16.4, 16.5, 16.6, and there is a 4A also. So I want to ask a very particular question. Have you heard about Article 16.4A?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's a 16.4A.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to ask that Supreme Court has given some verdict, and to nullify the effect of that verdict, the government of India has come up with this uh, this provision. So by which constitutional amendment act they brought it, and what
The
was the name of that case?
77
Yeah,
amendment.
and what was the name of that
77.
case? Name of the case?
Name I don't
In
know.
the
M.
in the
Nagpur.
case,
Yes, Dolly, you were saying something?
so case I don't remember, but it was to nullify that Indra Sahni's case of reservation in promotion. So
Yeah,
with this
exactly.
article, they enable to continue reservation in promotion as well.
Yes, exactly. Right. So this is the thing that they wanted to nullify, because what government said in Indira Sohani case, that reservation of government jobs under 16.4 is limited to the appointment, not promotion. However, government has come up with a scheme that they'll provide reservation in promotion also, and to go ahead with their policy, they came up with this law. Okay.
Sir, is it Officer Federation versus Anil Kumar Sanghai case?
See, there are no, the case name was Indira Sohani only.
Okay.
Yes.
It also
In
says that
Yeah,
Jammu.
see, there are many cases which says the same thing, but we'll take landmark case. Indira Sohani is a landmark case. There is another case which is M. Nagaraj versus Union of India case also. So we'll take the reference of landmark case.
Sir, can you please suggest how to remember these cases? Because
हम
I
लोग
am
केस
unable
एक बार
to.
केस की इसको कंप्लीट कर लें. Let's complete our fundamental rights, and thereafter we'll discuss all the landmark cases on fundamental right. Is it
Oh,
okay?
okay, sir.
And I'll provide you some notes also.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. And 16.3, in 16.3, what 16.3 says? Anybody, if you can tell me?
Sir, it will provide reservation on the basis of residence, like provided you want to develop in like backward areas. So suppose there is a place in a rural area and they want to provide employment, so they will select people from that area for the development. At that time they will consider the residents.
Yes, exactly. Article 16.3 empowers the parliament to make laws and prescribe residence as a condition in any state or union territories. And there are states which came up with this law also. So can you name one or two states?
Andhra Pradesh and
Madhya
Telangana.
Pradesh.
Yes, Andhra Pradesh is there.
Telangana and
Yes, Telangana is there.
no other states have come up, sir, except these
Maharashtra.
two. So as of now, only these two states have.
Sir, Haryana
Yes, Haryana is there.
and Maharashtra is also there, sir. I think Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh.
Sir,
Some
recently
northeast,
even Jharkhand has proposed.
some some northeastern state also is there that if you see in tribal areas there is reservation, you cannot go and seek the jobs there. Okay.
Sir, recently even Jharkhand has
And
proposed in its budget.
Sir, Tamil Nadu is also there, sir.
Now we'll talk about something more. So do you want me to discuss the cases?
Sir, can you
See, there
explain
are
16.4b?
I will once let me reach to that article and thereafter I will. So basically there is Himachal Pradesh, Manipur, Tripura, Telangana. There are many states. Okay. Now let me discuss a little more about Article 16.3. So first of all, we know that it is an exception to clause 2 of this article, which forbids discrimination on the ground of residence. But the court said that there may be some good reason for reserving certain posts in the state for the residents only. And this article, I have already told you that empowered parliament to came up with the laws and prescribe residence as one state. And by this power conferred by the Article 16.3 to Parliament, Parliament has passed the Public Employment Requirement as to Residence Act 1957. It provides that no one will be disqualified on the ground that one is not the resident of a particular state. However, the Act makes an exception for employment in Himachal Pradesh, Manipur, Tripura, Telangana. Okay. And now we'll talk about Article 16.4. The 16.4 is the another exception to the general rule, which are in 16.1 and 16.2. And what does it do? It empowers state to make a special provision for the reservation of appointments or post in favor of any backward class, which in the opinion of state are not adequately represented in the services under the state. Did you understand what I said?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now I want to ask something here, and the thing is that there is a definition given by the Supreme Court of creamy layer. So in which case it was given?
The Mandal case.
Mandal Commission.
Yes. And what is the definition? Anyone? If you can tell me.
There are some conditions.
Conditions are there, but they have given a very general and simple definition.
Sir,
So
the
if you
topmost level of the advanced level of OBC should be excluded, like something like that.
Yeah, kind of basically. So they have the Supreme Court said that a class of society that are relatively forward and educated than the other member of OBC. It's very simple. So there may be two classes. Basically, there are certain things which we'll be discussing in next 5 to 10 minutes about caste and all. So say for example, this is one class, okay, and these are people in this circle, okay, and there are these people in this circle, so they belong to same actually category, okay, or maybe we can say OBC caste. Let's take example of caste, okay. They may belong to same caste, okay. He is from X caste, and this group is also from X caste, and this group is also from uh, X caste. But the fundamental difference is that these people are IAS, politicians, professor, academician, and these people are daily based worker, dukan wala, and they are involved in some other what we can say in agriculture and all. So these people make every month 1.5 lakh rupees per month, and these people are unable to make 1.5 lakh in a year, also in a year. So what government these, and the reason is that why these people are making this much money per month, because they are actually if they are IAS officer, okay, then they are relatively forward from these people from this group, and obviously educated also. That is why they could become IAS officer. So this is the definition Supreme Court has given, said, and they were called creamy layer. ये जो लेयर है वो क्रीम है, एक cream layer है. So they were called creamy layer, and the court said that they are not eligible for reservation, but these people are eligible for the reservation. Now in Indra Sohani case, basically two questions came up before the court, and first question was, what was the first question? The first question was that this class, whether this classification is on the basis of uh, they asked whether classification on the basis of caste is permissible or not. First question was this. Second was whether there is a rational nexus to such caste-based classification for the advancement of backward classes of citizen. So basically, the court has given this definition of creamy layer, and they have said that the classification is not based on the caste, and therefore if it is not based on the caste, then they don't need to answer second question only, okay. And they said that it is based on the class, right? And uh, basically they have said that the class of citizen is backward, that is socially and educationally. And second thing, they have said that the said class is not adequately represented in the service of the state. And but one more thing, the court said the second test cannot be the sole criteria. That you cannot simply say for example, there is a group and they cannot simply go and say that we are not represented. So it cannot be sole criteria. Both the things should be considered. Then only you can go to Supreme Court or maybe to government and seek reservation and all, and government can formulate policies for them. Did you get it? Because there are certain community which are very, very much forward educationally, socially, economically. They cannot claim, but there are certain groups which are not, they can ask. But reservation is not a right. Remember this thing. The Supreme Court has said again and again, it's not the right. So you cannot actually claim it. This is the facility which is being provided to a particular group of the society, and they can enjoy it. However, it is not the right. And uh, now we'll talk about 15.4 and 16.4, because this the caste issue came. So the court simply said that Article 15.4 and 16.4 speaks for the classes only. do not speak of caste. Okay, so remember all these things. Now I don't think that we should discuss anymore because I can discuss a lot of things. I have read a lot about it and I can discuss, but that is not important for you. So if you want me to discuss, then I can go ahead. However, that is not important for UPSC. This much is important.
Sir,
Yes.
there is one condition written in Lakshmikant, I did not get it. It was
Mhm.
written that a law can provide that the incumbent of an office related to religious or denominational institution or a member of its governing body should belong to particular religion or denomination. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ सर?
Yes, I also remember this thing. Now, the thing is that the court said it is an exception of this general rule. So, say for example, let's take this is a person and this is some institution run by some religion, okay, for their religious education or whatever. So the thing is that the state cannot provide reservation in it, and second thing that they can specifically keep a criteria that only the person from that community will be the head of this institution, or people from this community can only come. So these people have the given the right to, and it was I think under Article 29 or 30, I don't remember exactly. It was I think 29. Okay, so it is that exception. Did you understand what I said?
Okay, sir, but any institution that is financed by a state, so in that reservation is given or not?
In if they are completely religious and though some article forbids that government cannot fund religious institution, however there are funding, and we'll take example of Waqf board. Have you heard about Waqf board?
Yes, sir, the Muslim board.
Yes, sir.
हाँ, तो अभी उसमें हमेशा जो भी द लीडर इज ऑलवेज मुस्लिम, but Buck board gets some sort of funding or something from government of India or state government also.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now somebody was asking, yes.
I doubt. Creamy layer is defined by Ramanandan committee, right? Like Mandal committee just defined the condition for socially and institutionally.
No, I am not saying that Mandal committee defined. I am saying in that case it was discussed. Mandal commission case. We were talking about the case, not the Mandal commission per se.
Okay.
So I was talking about that what Supreme Court said about creamy layer, because that is there. They have decided that there will be creamy layer and non-creamy layer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now somebody was asking about Article 16(4)(b). So first of all, I want to know that through which constitutional amendment act it was introduced.
81st Amendment. 81st Amendment.
Yeah, 81st Amendment Act. And when it came?
2000.
Yes, in 2000. Now, what it say? It basically allowed reservation and promotion to the 50% of upper limit. And second thing, what it did, that it permitted government to carry forward unfilled vacancies from previous year. So earlier, what used to happen, they say, for example, let's say SC, ST, OBC, and general. Okay. So what used to happen that, say, for example, there are tens, they could not find eligible candidates from SC community or ST community or maybe OBC community, and say there are 10 seats, 10 seats, 10 seats. Okay, so earlier what used to happen that if they don't find a suitable candidate, then they leave those vacancy, and in next vacancies they these vacancy has no role. But now what they did, that right now, say for example, let's take example of UPSC. I'm just taking example. I am not talking about real life scenarios. So just because I'm just giving you this example to understand. Okay, so the factually I may be wrong also. So remember this thing. Just try to understand what I am saying, that what is this carry forward rule. So what happened that says in 2014 there were 10 seats for SC and 15 seats for ST remained unfilled. Now what government did in 2015, they have added these seats. Okay, so it will not first of all it will not come under that scrutiny of quota, that 50% thing. Okay, and these vacancies can be added to the next year. This is what happened in 16.4b. Okay,
Okay, sir.
now economical weaker section quota, all of you know. Do I need to discuss that or not? I want to ask one more thing. NCBC, National Commission for Backward Classes. So whether it is a constitutional body or not, the first question is that.
Constitution.
Yes, sir.
Constitutional body.
Okay, and by which constitutional amendment act it has conferred the status of?
123.
I'm asking act, I'm not asking bill.
102nd.
Yes, 102nd. Okay,
102.
and in which case the Supreme Court asked government to formulate this kind of body, or government had, yeah, Indira Sohani. Okay, so this is more than enough information. Actually, you can go and write judiciary exam also after reading maybe 4 or 5 cases. That's more than enough. Now, do you have any doubt, or should we move ahead and discuss next concept? Anybody? Now we'll discuss Article 17. And who is going to tell me Article 17? Let me ask someone. Yeah, Devojyoti Ghosh, can you explain what is Article 17? Devojyoti, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Can you tell me what is Article 17?
Is the abolition of untouchability in Article 17? It has been mentioned, and it says practice of untouchability in any form is a crime sort of thing. So that's all I know about it.
Yes, it is there. And I want to ask, uh, does the Constitution of India define untouchability?
No, sir. Sir.
Okay. Can you please tell me the name of that act which
Untouchability
government
of
has
1985.
one by
Protection
one?
of civil right.
Protection of Civil Right 1950.
Okay. And which articles conferred this power Parliament to bring this law? I mean, the origin of, or we can difference.
Article 36.
When I am speaking, please close your mic, because what happens that then there is repetition of voice. Okay. So Article 17 has the genesis of this act, but there is a procedure. There is an article which says that Parliament can formulate law regarding the fundamental rights. Which article is this?
Article 35.
Yes, 35. Okay. And one more thing, that remember that untouchability is neither defined in the Constitution nor in the Act, but the Mysore High Court held that the term is not to be understood in its literal or grammatical sense, but to be understood as the practice as it had developed historically in this country. And then the court said that one more thing, that there is a case called Devraj versus Padmana case, and in this case court defined untouchability, and court said that uh, whatever is open to general public shall be open to all the citizen of India. Now there's a question coming in my mind. I want to ask that Article 14 and Article 17. So whether Article 14 is has the similar applicability as Article 17 has when we are talking about some person. Okay,
Yes, sir.
let me be more specific. So, Article 17 says that it is applicable to the citizen of India. Does Article 14 also say same thing, or it has some more broad concept?
14 is more broader than 17, as it includes religion, race, caste is one of the part of it.
That
Actually,
is okay,
Article
but
14 includes
I'm,
foreigners also.
yeah,
So
exactly. That was the
that
question.
is why.
Yes. So Article 17, Article 15, Article 16, Article 17 are for Indian citizen. Remember this thing. But when we talk about Article 14, it includes all person. They can be Indian citizen and non-Indian citizen also. However, there are certain exceptions to this rule also. And what are they? What are those exceptions? If one can tell me.
They
Sir,
should be not
enemy
from
aliens.
enemy countries,
Yes,
yes.
for there are certain exceptions for enemy aliens. So who are they?
Not
With
friendly
whom
with
the
our
war
country.
is declared.
with whom we have fought a war, or
Not fought, war is declared as well.
Bangladesh and
Currently, we are
Pakistan,
with
basically.
force.
China, sir, China.
Yeah, China
Is
is also there.
yes, sir.
But in normal condition, no one is enemy.
Yes,
Bangladesh and
and
Pakistan mainly, actually.
yes, but that's why I asked that if what is the exception? So exception is for enemy जो alien होते हैं उनके लिए, ठीक है? Enemy alien. And now what should we discuss?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Animesh.
Sir, you said that 17 is not applicable to foreigners.
Yes, it is not applicable to foreigner.
Sir, but it is the articles are 15, 16, 19, 29, and 30.
Yes, sir.
Is it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Only
Yes, sir.
5 articles
Yes,
are
and
for
Article
citizens.
17 is absolute fundamental right. It has no exception. It is applicable to all.
17 is applicable for everyone.
Yes, sir. And the articles are
Yes,
15,
sir.
16, 18 to, if going by laws, 18 to 19, 29, and 30.
Okay, and what about 18?
Sir, 18 to only. That is, no Indian can be conferred awards from foreigners. Means they cannot choose that in title or anything.
Yes, 18 to no citizen of India shall accept any title from any foreign state.
Uh, 17 is applicable for all, sir.
Okay. So anything
So,
else?
sir, sir, we were
Yes.
talking that basically 14 and Article 17 are they appear to be similar. So, but can we say that in Article 17 the practice of untouchability uh, is considered as a punishable offense, whereas
Yes.
in 14 it is not mentioned. So, can we say that
Yeah.
this is the
Yeah.
difference?
This we can also say that in 14 they don't talk about punishment, but in 17 it is
Also,
punishable
sir,
offense.
also, sir, for
And also,
implementing 17, we need law, and
Yes.
there is no such thing in 14, I suppose.
या 14 में तो 14 पर तो हम लोग लॉ एक्चुअली all the law get tested on 14 actually.
Yes, sir. It get tested on 14, but for 17, particular law is required.
Yes. Now we'll talk about Article 18. So do you want me to discuss anything else in 17, because there is nothing much to discuss about Article 17.
So it is
Let-
enemy country, enemy alien you said also.
Enemy alien, right now we have 3 enemy alien: Bangladesh, Pakistan, and China. That's what I know, that with these
Since
countries
currently we are considering them as enemy aliens.
yes.
Okay. Though we have not we are not having any declared war
Sir,
on them as of now. Are
sir,
they
when we are
considered?
at war, then only the country will be declared as enemy alien, not when we are in normal scenario.
Yes, sir. I agree with that.
No, actually, as far as I know, even in some cases, when India had fought war with any country, that were also considered to be enemy, if in case the relationship is not good.
Exactly.
But that is
And
when the war is being fought, right?
no, but I tell you one thing, that government has come up with an act, and this was related to forfeiting of the property of enemy aliens property, those who are in Pakistan but their properties are in India, and this kind of thing. So
Sir,
government has come. Yes.
yes, sir, वो doubt है. Those
Mhm.
properties are at the time of 1961 China war and Pakistan war. उस टाइम पे वो properties हमने forfeit की थी,
Mhm.
तो वही continue है अभी. तो that time they were enemy aliens. But
अभी
now
हाँ,
I think we will not consider
अभी
them.
भी गवर्नमेंट फिर से गवर्नमेंट ने अमेंडमेंट किया है और वो चीज कंटिन्यूड है, और अगर वो चीज खत्म ही नहीं हुई है तो हम लोग कैसे कह सकते हैं कि ये एनिमी एलियन नहीं है? स्टिल दे आर एनिमी एलियन। आप देख लो, चेक कर लो, देयर इज एक्ट, रिसेंट भी न्यूज में था थोड़े दिनों पहले।
हाँ सर, बट फिर अगर ऐसा है तो एनिमी एलियन के साथ इफ वी ट्रेड, दैट टाइम हम सिटीजनशिप वगैरह खो देते हैं और कुछ पेनल वो भी हैं. बट
बट
अब तो
उसमें आपको
गवर्नमेंट
आपको
ट्रांजेक्शन भी
पता
होगा.
ही है ना, आपको तो पता ही है कि कैसी चीजें चलती हैं, तो अगर हम उसको ना डिस्कस करें तो वो ज्यादा बेहतर है कि क्या चीज है, क्योंकि वो सिर्फ कहने के लिए चीजें हैं, बट एक्चुअली में क्या हो रहा है वो तो एवरीबॉडी नोज। तो वो हमारे डिस्कशन का हिस्सा नहीं बनना चाहिए। दैट्स व्हाट आई वांट टू से।
तो हम एनिमी एलियन कंसिडर मीन्स अगर एग्जाम में आता है तो.
क्योंकि आपको क्या होता है ना कि आप जो है स्पेशल, सरकार से स्पेशल परमिशन, तमाम बहुत सारी चीजें रहती हैं, उन्होंने हर चीज का एक्सेप्शन निकाल रखा है ना, कि एक आर्टिकल आपका, एक आपको से फॉर एग्जांपल इफ देयर इज a act, then first provision is saying that you won't trade with Pakistan, and second is saying in exceptional circumstances, in this situation, in that situation, and with the special permission of this government and that government, you can do, then what is that? समझ रहे हो ना आप? तो इस टाइप से चीजें कर रखी हैं। अब नाउ वील डिस्कस आर्टिकल 18 ए, एनिमी एलियन का जब हम लोग जो पढ़ेंगे ना सिटीजनशिप, उस टाइम में हम इसको और अच्छे से डिस्कस कर लेंगे एक बार, ठीक है?
ओके सर.
नाउ वील डिस्कस अबाउट आर्टिकल 18 of the Indian Constitution. Now, can you please tell me that what is Article 18?
Sir, abolition of titles.
Abolition of title. And what does it mean?
So no one should use any titles like Raja, Maharaja, or in front of their name, so that everyone is treated equally.
Yes. And
No person should acquire foreign titles such as military or academic titles.
so you are saying that no person should use Raja, Maharaja, right?
Yes, sir.
And
Basically hereditary titles.
It is
and
basically to promote the equality and social justice among the citizens.
Yes, yes.
But nowhere it is written that that person cannot write. So is it person specific or it has something to do with the state?
Sir, academic titles can be honored, but recently court gave a judgment that
Okay,
titles like
so
Bharat
I'll
Ratna.
talk first. I'll talk about Article 18(1).
Sir,
18
actually,
what
18(1) is that state should not confer any titles.
exactly? Yes.
So the person can use, right, while writing his or her name or mentioning his or her name.
Right now we are not talking, but we are just saying that Article 18(1) says that it actually prohibit the state to confer titles on anybody, whether a citizen or non-citizen. Okay.
Sir, I have a doubt on this.
Yes.
Sir, like if it is like that, that state cannot confer, then how do we use those titles for that freedom fighters like Lokmanya Tilak, Mahatma Gandhi, and Baba Sahib Ambedkar? These are all kind of titles, honorary like these are associated with the movement only, but these are kind of
Actually,
title
they
only
were
there.
given by the people of the movement, not
They
by
are
the
not
state.
given by right.
But
They were
still,
given
Yes.
by people.
but still, government is
No.
using in official.
See,
That.
how many of you have lived in villages, especially North Indian villages?
Yes, sir.
तो वहाँ जो पंडित
Yes, sir.
पंडित टाइप के लोग होते हैं, पंडित टाइप के लोग होते हैं, उनको महाराज टाइप कुछ बोलते हैं, महाराज आ गए हैं जो पूजा
हाँ
वूजा
साहब,
करवाने आते हैं, है ना?
साहब ये सब बोलते हैं।
Yes, sir.
हाँ अब कुछ जैसे यादव लोग हैं, ठीक है, तो उनको दाऊ साहब या राव साहब इस टाइप से बोलेंगे, या जो
Rao
क्षत्रिय
Sahib.
क्लैन होती है
Sir.
उनको दाऊ साहब बोलेंगे। तो ये तो उस स्टेट ने कन्फर्म नहीं किया है ना, उनको ना तो राव साहब स्टेट ने दिया है, ना महाराज स्टेट ने दिया है, ना
But
ही दाऊ साहब स्टेट ने दिया है। इट इज गिवन बाय द पीपल, ठीक है, यू कैन कॉल एनीबडी whatever you want to, you can call anybody, okay, and it has become kind of village practice or whatever. uh, Now if you want to challenge it, you can go to court and you can say I have this objection, and according to the constitution it should not have been done, evil people should not practice. But here it does not talk about any practice, it just says that actually the government should not confer all these titles, and whatever title government has conferred महाराजा राजा राजाधिराज जो भी है वो गवर्नमेंट ने सब एबोलिश कर दिए।
Sir,
इसके
also
बाद
the titles like Mahatma, Lokmanya, they don't relate to any inequality in society.
exactly, they signifies their work, okay,
Sir,
they
actually they
don't
signify.
yes, they do not create any kind of hierarchy in the society, that if person is being called Lokman or Mahatma, then actually he is at the topmost hierarchy. So what Article 18 tries to do, it tries to do away hierarchy. It says that everybody should be equal and no one should feel inferior or superior just because of the title. Did you understand?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Now, what does clause 2 says? Yeah, so basically in Article 18(1), there is a exception that government can confer military and academic distinction. Okay, so these are basically not title, but these are distinction, and they are exempted from the prohibition for they are incentive to further efforts in the perfection of the military when we are talking about military, and when we are talking about academics title, then actually in advancement of the society or science or whatever is there. So it is actually recognition given to them, not the title. And now we'll talk about Article 18(2). So what does Article 18(2) says? And Animesh, you don't need to tell because we have already discussed it. Who should I
No,
ask?
no citizen of India shall accept any title from foreign state.
लेकिन अभी ये सब प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी को मिला एक टाइटल कहीं से,
सर वो
यूएई से
अवार्ड है
मिला।
ना, सर वो तो अवार्ड है। ये टाइटल
नहीं, अवार्ड की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैंने कुछ टाइटल भी मिले हैं उनको, निशाने।
So they can accept by permission of president.
Yes, exactly. So if anyone has to take, then that person needs to take the permission from the President of India.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And third thing, what is Article 3? I'm in Clause 3 of Article 16. Sorry, 18.
Sir, a foreigner in Indian state can also not take any foreign title except from the president's permission.
Sir, like you said that from president's permission, sir, if in paper this option is given that citizen of India shall accept, no citizen shall accept any title from foreign state. So
Then consider it correct, and because they don't consider exception, they directly ask thing. Okay.
yes, sir.
If they have to ask exceptional things, then they'll ask exception also. They'll mention that thing.
We
Yeah.
should read it as plain, na, sir? Plain
Yeah,
state.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Clean statement. Now we'll talk about Article 18.3. So Animesh has already said that no person who is not a citizen of India shall, while he holds any office of profit or trust under the state, accept without the consent of the president any title from any foreign state. So remember this thing, that if he is holding any office or trust under the state, office of profit or trust under the state, then only he is debarred. Otherwise, he is not debarred. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And what about the clause fourth of Article 18?
So no citizen or foreigner holding any office of profit under the state shall not accept any present or emoluments from foreign state except by permission of president.
It simply says no person. It does not say that whether foreigner or citizen. Article 18.2 talks about says no citizen, and 18.3 says that no person who is not a citizen of India, and fourth is say no person. So
Yes, sir.
it says that that person shall not accept any present, emolument, or office of any kind from any foreign state. So it is not talking about that some title or something like that, but it is saying that some present means some sort of gift, some extra कुछ उसको जो भी है थोड़ा बहुत involvement, and then any office also. If you have to hold any office in any foreign state, then you need to take permission of the government of India. That is president basically. Okay.
Sir,
Yes,
here
sir.
the president is having discretionary power, na?
Yes.
In this case, the president has the discretion, na?
President do not have discretion in anything. Remember all this thing. President has, because it's the Council of Ministers which advises him on each and everything. Even if you go for mercy petition also, it is the concerned ministry, law ministry and home ministry which are the advising agency to the President of India. He does not himself take all this decision.
But sir, in the case of hung parliament, it is up to president to find the most suitable match.
Those are different. Those are discretionary power, we can say. Okay, but very limited.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So should we discuss Article 19 or should we discuss it later on?
Sir,
Later.
Okay.
sir,
Yes, Prerna.
Sir, so in case of Article 18, can individual people use hereditary and noble titles along with their names?
See, in when you are speaking, you can do anything, but you cannot write those things. In writing, you can't do that thing. It's a very simple thing that is forbidden.